What's going on, everybody? This is Dana Pope Jr., Master Executive 8, and today we are talking about the blood type diet. The blood type diet. And we're talking about this because I realized that according to this diet, a lot of the foods that I eat may actually be doing me more harm than good. Now, there is no evidence to date that's concrete that proves this. So I will be experimenting on myself. However, I'll be sharing this with you guys in the meanwhile, so you can go do your own research. Okay? So the Bible tells us that the life of the flesh is in the blood. Let's go pull that up. Leviticus 17:11. For the life of a creature is in the blood, and I have given it to you to make atonement for yourselves on the altar. It is the blood that makes the atonement one's life. The New Living Translation says it this way: for the life of the blood is in its blood. I have given you the blood on the altar to purify you, making you right with the Lord. It is the blood given in exchange for a life that makes purification possible. The English Standard Version says, for the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it for you on the altar to make atonement for your souls, for it is the blood that makes atonement by the life. The Berean Study Bible says, for the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you to make atonement for your souls upon the altar, for it is the blood that makes atonement for the soul. The King James Bible says, for the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make atonement for your souls, for it is the blood that makes an atonement for the soul. Okay? We also see that Yeshua in the Essene Gospels, I forget exactly which gospel it was. I read them all. Those are some great texts, especially if you're looking for more of the dietary part of it, and which the original, the canon, does not go into, right? So it says, for of the fruits of the trees and the seeds of the earth alone do I partake, and these are changed by the Spirit into my flesh and my blood. This is Yeshua talking. It says, and these are changed by the Spirit into my flesh and my blood. Of these alone and their like shall ye eat who believe in me and are my disciples. For of these in the Spirit come life and health and healing unto man. Now, I'm not getting stuck on the whole vegetarian thing. According to different blood types, some people, studies say that some people do way better with meat and actually should eat meat. Okay? So I'm not on here telling nobody to be no vegetarian, no vegan, or none of that. Even though that's something that I chose. So let me pull because there was a doctor right. So just to simplify it, simplify everything. This is a rather long article. I'll read it, but I'll just go over the simplified part of it first, right? His name is D. Adamo. Okay, and he says that a chemical reaction occurs when the blood comes into contact with certain foods, specifically with a protein called lectin. Lectins have a direct effect on the blood and the digestive tract. The protein binds to the cells within the body, causing them to clump together, which can potentially lead to hormonal disruptions. The effect that this produces on the body is similar to that of a foreign substance being present. That is huge. So basically, a food that binds to cells in the body could be considered foreign. And what does the body do when something is considered foreign? It will fight to get rid of it. So Diadamo suggests that people with different blood types react differently to particular types of food and their lectins. As a result, he recommends specific diets for people with these different blood types. However, no research to date suggests that lectins affect people in specific blood groups. Okay? So, in a 2014 study showed that adhering to the blood O-type diet reduced levels of triglycerides in the blood. A triglyceride is the storage form of fat. Despite this, the study authors concluded that the drop in triglyceride levels occurred due to factors unrelated to the person's blood type. So, this is up for experimentation. You're going to have to experiment on yourself to get your own results. What I'm doing right now is simply sharing the information that I'm going to be using to test on myself, because that's the only way I'll know if it's true, right? So then it goes into the different foods that in particular. Now there are other diets. There are A diets, B diet. Other blood types. You got A, B, AB, O, and then you got all the positive and negatives of those forms. So we're going to go into the foods to eat and the foods not to eat. Now I see that it doesn't necessarily say whether positive or negative from so I have to do some more research on this. But from what I know so far, positive has to do with an electric charge, a positive electric charge, which would symbol more of a an electric diet or a gorilla diet or a plant-based diet, whereas the negative would be considered something more like a polar bear diet. It would be considered something more, I guess, animalistic. That's not really the word I'm looking for. But basically, you got positive gorilla, negative polar bear, right? So the diet plan that dictates that the people in the O blood should consume beneficial animal products, right? So now this is interesting because I have O blood, but I chose to be a vegetarian. And what it's saying here is that it doesn't necessarily give a difference between the positive or the negative. It just says that O blood should consume beneficial products, meat products. Now, since I haven't been, I've seen fine. So honestly, I may experiment with meat again just to see how it feels. But honestly, I don't really see that happening. Like, it's very difficult for me to put meat in my mouth, and you know what? I'm not even gonna say that because I do eat eggs, and I still consider eggs meat. So I guess technically I'm not a pure vegetarian, you know what I'm saying? But I don't eat eggs all the time, In fact, most of the time I do eat eggs is in the morning, and I don't even really eat in the morning anymore. I usually have some coffee, which is a thing we're going to be talking about because our O blood type should stay away from coffee. I didn't know this. I didn't know that at first. I've been drinking, and it's interesting. I never liked coffee until I moved to Florida. And when I moved there, that's when I started drinking it, coffee. And I've been drinking it ever since. Sometimes 2 to 3 cups a day. Like, it gets addicting because, for one, the caffeine, and 2, the taste. It tastes good. I like the taste of it. So what I may be doing to experiment on myself is instead of me just trying to like stop or cut off coffee, I may get a they have versions of coffee that are not coffee but taste like coffee. All right. So I may try that, or I may just cut it out altogether. I think that would be the best way. Experiment for 30 days on myself, cut it out altogether, and track my results. All right, because that's what we need to be. We need to be scientists. Whatever information or whatever it is that we come into, we got to apply it to see if it's true. That's the only way we'll know if it's true. We can tell ourselves anything, but it's not until we apply the information that we see if it's true or not. And that's what most of us suffer from, is lack of application. Animal proteins. I would say this is more for the negative O blood group. And that is beef, lamb, mutton, veal, venison, cod, herring, and mackerel. These are the ones that it says that O negative blood types should consume. Dairy. I don't consume dairy at all. I just stay away from it. I really feel like I don't need it. I feel like I could get my whatever it is that I need from dairy from other sources, because I feel like most of the dairy that comes from cows. Like, I don't even feel like we should be consuming anything that comes from a cow, because just on a logical sense, it don't really make sense. It don't really make sense. Now I've heard of but at the same time, we want to focus on what works, not on what we think makes sense or whatever. Like, what works, because I've heard of people getting huge benefits from drinking raw milk. All right, like the unprocessed milk. So dairy says although people looking to follow the old blood type should generally avoid dairy and eggs. So boom, like I said, I'm eating the eggs. I'm wondering why I'm feeling a certain way, wondering why my energy is low. I'm like, man, why? Why when I drink coffee, I actually feel more tired than before I drank the coffee. Like, that's what kind of brought it up to my mind. Like, hey, you know what? Maybe that blood type thing is. Let me go check it out. Let me go do some research. All right, and then let me experiment. So these dairy, they say you should avoid these, but it says occasionally you can consume these butter, cheeses such as Parma, feta, mozzarella, goat's cheese, soy milk. All right, nuts. Nuts are a great source of protein and healthful fats, and people following the diet can typically have most nuts, except for the ones in the foods to avoid list, which we're going to be going into below. All right. Suitable nuts and seeds, including walnuts, hazelnuts, almonds, are available to purchase online. Pumpkin seeds and walnuts supposedly provide the most benefits. I'm going to be also applying Dr. Sebi's information to my diet as well in the future to see the benefits. Like, I want to start really experimenting on myself and seeing what is the best results from eating certain foods, not eating certain foods, maybe not eating at all, maybe one meal a day, like just different things to see where I can get the best benefit as far as operating on a physical level, right? So beans, people with old blood type tolerate beans, keyword tolerate. I don't really like that word. That means that I don't really need it, and that I can do it, but it's in toleration, meaning that it's not really the most beneficial thing. It's just that I have the ability to tolerate it, right? So proponents of the diet believe that the most beneficial beans for these individuals are adzuki beans, pinto beans, and black-eyed peas. Grains. While most people on the O positive and negative diet should avoid grains, a few can remain in the diet, including amaranth. Oh man, I didn't even know that. Should avoid just grains altogether. Like, man, these are some of my favorite foods that it's about to, amaranth, buckwheat, millet. Millet was one that I had, I started to really like because it was really nutty. It was really thick. It was really something that would stick, kasha, kamut, rice, right? So some people may also be able to eat gluten-containing grains, while others are just unable to tolerate them altogether. These grains are barley, rye, spelt, Essene bread, or Ezekiel bread. Many of the less widely available grains are available to purchase online, including amaranth, kamut, and kasha, as well as Ezekiel bread. Vegetables, with a few exceptions, which are on the list of foods to avoid. People with type O blood can eat most vegetables, including tomatoes, artichokes, chicory, dandelion, garlic, horseradish, kale, okra. Oh, I love me some okra, man. Some kale, garlic, dandelion greens. Dandelion greens are really bitter, but they taste good too. Onions, parsley, parsnips, red peppers. Those are some of my favorites. Sweet potatoes. I love me some sweet potatoes. Pumpkin, not really a fan of. Seaweed, eh. Ooh, I do like seaweed salad, although I don't know if that's the same thing. And turnips. And some fruits. Some of the recommended fruits for people with O blood types are plums, prunes, figs, grapefruits, and most berries. As you can see, there aren't really apples and oranges and all of that stuff in there. These are more dark, really dense fruits. Plums, you know what I'm saying? Well, no, plum is more of a juicy fruit. Prunes, a dry fruit. Figs, dry. Grapefruit, which I'm not a fan of. So interesting that would be one of the recommended ones. So, hey, I may start experimenting with some grapefruits, you know? I'm not really caring too much about the taste at this point. I just want to get the effects. All right. Most berries, love me some berries, all types of berries, blackberries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. Berries are just the bomb.com. All right, spices and condiments. This part I had no idea about, right? Kelp-based seasoning, which is one that I had started using in place of salt. Iodized salt. Yeah. Party. Curry. No, I love me some curry, man. You know, but hey, we gonna experiment. Cayenne pepper, chocolate, cocoa, honey. Oh no, I'm sorry. It says that we can enjoy these things. My apologies. Even though cayenne is a nightshade. Cayenne's a nightshade. Chocolate, cocoa, and honey. Right? People can purchase many. Right. Okay. So you know what? Forgive me if I said that any of these foods, you know, I was upset about, because these are all foods that I can eat. I'm tripping. It's not, we haven't gotten to the sections of food just to stay away from yet. Right? So spices and condiments. Oh, right, we just went through that. Beverages. Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah. So seltzer water, bleh. Club soda, nasty. Sparkling water, hated. Tea, yeah, I like me some tea. And wine. I like wine, but I try to stay away from it, only because I got this thing with me where if I start to like something, I just overdo it. Like, I'm not really a middle ground balanced type of guy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm either doing something or I'm not. You know what I mean? So if I'm drinking coffee, oh, I'm drinking some coffee. If I'm not, I don't. Foods to avoid. All right. Supporters of the diet suggest that people with the type O blood may experience unwanted weight gain when they eat particular food groups such as dairy. Unwanted weight gain. So, hey, you got some unwanted weight gain, you're O blood type, you might want to experiment on yourself. All right. Specific products such as wheat-based foods that contain gluten. Gluten may also lead to inflammatory and autoimmune responses. And as we know, gluten is pretty much in everything except, most natural foods. Animal proteins. The diet for people with type O blood excludes pork, including ham and bacon. I would just suggest nobody eat none of that stuff, because that is just like bottom of the barrel food. Like, pigs eat anything. Like, that is the one thing that I used to love, man. Matter of fact, I felt like pork was one of the most flavorful meats out there. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't really, at one point, that's all I ate was pork bacon. You know what I'm saying? It was weird. My progress to where I'm at now was a slow progress. I went from eating pork to turkey to chicken to fish to like lamb to like no meat at all. And that was also due to a lot of uh a lot of documentaries and stuff I've seen too, where I actually seen where the food was coming from, man. When you watch, a documentary like oh man, now I can't even remember the names of these things. You can go on YouTube. Just go on YouTube, look for documentaries on food and where it comes from. And just if you got a weak stomach, I just, maybe it's better that you just read them. Okay, because they're going through some stuff that is just scary. And that you consume that stuff, it's more scary. So anyway, where was I? All right. So the diet plan for people with type O blood excludes pork, including ham and bacon, goose, barracuda, pickled herring, catfish, smoked salmon. Ooh, that used to be one of my favorites. Caviar, octopus, and conch. Dairy. People following the diet should avoid dairy products not on the foods to eat list, including yogurt. Nuts, particular nuts, also do not feature in the plan, including Brazil nuts, cashews, peanuts, pistachios, poppy seeds, man. Pistachios and cashews are some of my favorite nuts. Beans that proponents of the diet advise against are copper beans, kidney beans, tamarind beans, lentils. I love me some lentils, man, including domestic green and red lentils, right? Grains. The diet also includes the following grains: corn, gluten, graham, bulgur, durum, sprouted, white and whole wheat, wheat germ and bran, farina, oat, and 7 grain. Vegetables. Although people in the blood O tolerate many vegetables well, the advice is that they should avoid vegetables belonging to the brassica family, which are some of my favorites, man. Cabbage. I love cabbage when it's like steamed, seasoned right. Brussels sprouts. I had this thing where I was doing Brussels sprouts with the it was an idea that someone gave me, Brussels sprouts with craisins or like cranberries. Good combination. So if Brussels sprouts are on your list, man, hook them things up. Get you some craisins in there or some cranberries. Them things will be popping. Just don't overcook them. You know what I'm saying? Just cook them enough to, get them nice and heated up. Try to keep that crunch to them. Cauliflower and mustard greens. Cauliflower is the bomb, man. They get you some cauliflower bites. Put some buffalo sauce on them things, or some what's that, barbecue sauce. Right, so you got alfalfa sprouts, shiitake mushrooms, fermented olives. I love me some olives, man. I'm telling you, dog. I can eat olives straight out the jar, like a whole thing of them. Vegetables from the nightshade family, including eggplant and potatoes. There are a lot of other vegetables. You'll definitely want to check out that nightshade thing and experiment on yourself. Don't take anyone's word for it. You are your experiment. Be constantly experimenting on yourself. Okay, corn, leek, fruits. People following the O positive and negative diet should also avoid several specific fruits. Including melons, including cantaloupe and honeydew, oranges, tangerines, strawberries, and blackberries. I thought they said berries was good, so I guess it's just going to be these two in specific, which are also some of my favorites. Rhubarb, avocado, which is delicious, coconut, and products that contain coconut. Spices and condiments. Spices and condiments to avoid in a diet include pepper, both black and white, vinegar, capers, cinnamon, cornstarch and corn syrup, nutmeg, vanilla, ketchup, pickles, mayonnaise, and relish. Just people with blood type should avoid drinking the following according to the diet plan: beer, coffee, distilled water, and black tea. Yeah. So it's all stuff you can experiment with. You know, the blood consists of many vital components, including plasma, red and white blood cells, and platelets, right? The blood also includes something called antigens, right? These antigens, they're a substance on the surface of the cell, and they trigger the immune system to attack the foreign compounds and organisms such as bacteria. So basically, you're instigating a fight, basically. You know what I mean? You're basically instigating a fight, supposedly. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I just got to experiment. But you're instigating a fight between the food and your cells. Okay? So these are substances on the surface of the cell that trigger the immune system to attack foreign compounds and organisms such as bacteria. Antigens can also trigger the immune system to attack blood types that have different antigens. I've heard stories of women having babies with a different blood type, okay? And their blood would attack the baby because it would consider them a foreign compound. Ain't that the craziest thing? It's almost like, why would the baby even have a blood type that's going to be attacked? Like, why would that even happen? Like, that's crazy, right? So doctors classify blood types as A, B, AB, and O. They also label them as either rhesus, which is RH positive, or rhesus negative, you know, to denote the presence or the absence of an antigen called the RH factor. All right. You know what? Let me see how much time we got, because I want to just touch on that RH factor real quick. So we good. We got about 17 minutes, right? So for example, a person with O positive blood does not have A or B antigens on the surface of the cells, but does have the RH factor. In contrast, O negative blood has no A or B antigens and no RH factor. For this reason, medical experts consider type O negative blood to be a universal red cell donor. Right? Okay. So, in summary, like I said, there's currently no strong evidence to prove that this diet is effective or to support its use. Meaning, you have to experiment to find out. You know, don't believe anything I'm saying. What I want you to do is, if you feel as though this could be something that's helpful to you, I want you to pick out the foods that you currently eating that maybe you should avoid. Start to slowly cut them out or replace them, or don't even cut them out. I would just replace them. So replace the coffee with. I got me some lime water in here. I got me some lime water. All right. So. And there's plenty of vegetables you can mix and match. You know what I'm saying? If it's a vegetable you like, but it's on that list, just go ahead, switch it out and see how you feel. Track your progress. Give yourself 21 to 30 days. You know what I'm saying? We're all scientists. We're constantly hypothesizing. We're constantly experimenting, getting results, and then going back to the hypothesis. It's a continuous scientific experiment. Right? So, like I said, people found a specific blood type may report improved health, but this could occur due to them eating more healthy food in general. You know what I'm saying? So it may not have anything to do with the lectins. So at the very least, you'll be more healthy. Okay, so it is always important for a person to pay attention to how their body reacts to foods and beverages, and that they consume so they can get to know what diet works best for them. It is best to maintain a well-balanced, varied diet that contains foods with high nutritional content. As with any diet or exercise program, it's important to speak with your doctor before embarking on a specific diet for blood type. So I'm going to leave that disclaimer in there. Speak to your doctor first. Me, I am my doctor. If I need to be healed, I'll heal myself because I have that ability to do that. All right? Because honestly, man, I don't trust nobody with putting my health in their hands, telling me what's good for my health. You know what I'm saying? And if they do tell me something, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to go try it out. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what it is. Like, I ain't even going to say that. I just had a video that got taken down from YouTube because I said something about that. So I ain't even going to talk about that. I mean, but, so yeah. Oh, right. I wanted to look up that RH factor. Oh, you know what? I also wanted to do this, guys. So here's another video. It's a short video. It's about 2 minutes that just talks about the life of the flesh being in the blood. Leviticus 17:11, and it's giving us a different view on how the life of the flesh is in the blood. So I'm gonna play this for y'all, and hopefully you guys can hear it.